And so yesterday's practice was one of the better that you guys have had all year. What do you think? Really set the tone that way for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we came up short on Saturday, obviously, and so we just came to practice ready to work yesterday, and I mean, it showed today. I mean, we looked at our numbers and stuff like that, and I mean, it was one of our better Monday practices that we've had in a while. I mean, so that's just kudos to like our mindset and the culture that we set around here, and just continue to uphold that despite what happened on Saturday. Just keep looking forward.
How encouraging is it to see that coming off a loss, that everybody seems motivated to take a step?
I mean, that's the most encouraging thing in the world because, I mean, some teams, when they get a loss like that, of that magnitude and that environment, they fall and crumble. Everything starts to fall apart. But, I mean, we're coming together. We're banding tighter together. And so that's a good look, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been around some teams before where, I mean, we've had a loss or two and like that, and it kind of just shut everybody down and everybody kind of just, folded over. Just so to see that from yesterday from us, I mean, I was pretty proud of us.
Dan Lanning said that the team wanted to wear pads. Were you one of those players that wanted to put on the pads and do some hitting yesterday?
I'm an old lineman. I'm going to hit regardless, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if I got pads on or not, I mean, a level of physicality is going to be hell. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter what we're going to be in. But, I mean, we did need to get some of that anger out, yesterday. And so that's what it looked like. So.
How do you personally deal with a loss like that? Like, what do the 24 hours afterward look like for you?
Yeah. I mean, you give it 24 hours, you know what I'm saying? You go back and you reevaluate the game, obviously, see what you could have done better, see how you could have done what your prep could look like different throughout the week to help you better prepare for Saturday. And then you look at Saturday as a whole. And then you feel it for 24 hours, you don't try to negate it or whatever. And then it's right back to work, you know what I'm saying? The one thing I told everybody in the locker room, even Coach Landon, was we got 24 hours. That's all we're getting is 24 hours. Don't let this sprinkle over into this week. Sit within the 24 hours, and then we came back and we reviewed everything we got to do, and now we're on to Washington State. So,
why has this offensive line been so good? Joe Moore Award released, and you guys were on it for the offensive line. Just so many new pieces, and it's been seamless. Why are you guys so good?
The connection in that room is top tier. You know what I'm saying? That is different. Obviously, we've had a lot of different pieces coming in. We've had some old guys stay behind. We've had some new older guys come in, and we've had some young guys step up. And in a world like that, especially in the offensive line world, it's all about connection and just the fluidity of how you play next to one person next to each other. And so, I mean, to give props to everybody in that room, from Coach Cav to Coach Terry to Coach Cut, everybody. They really we want to come to work every day and go as hard as we do for everybody. So, I mean, the byproduct of that is just, all three of those guys harping in all at once. And, I mean, we are a very, very, very well-connected group.
What's the award just mean to you, mean to the unit, just to be up for it?
Yeah. I mean, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be up there, but we still got to go get it. You know what I'm saying? And just because we're on the mid-season, whatever the halfway mark, that's great and everything, but we haven't won it yet. But that is one of the things that we strive for every single day in the O-line room. One of the three things that we say is Joe Moore Award, Pac-12 Championship, and Natty, and that's one of those three things that we're achieving. So, I mean, it's great to be up there, but let's go win it.
Late in the game, JPJ had to go out for a play, and Poncho came in at center.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to see the offensive line kind of rally around him and hype him up before that. What about Poncho makes him the guy to go to in there, and how much confidence you have in his ability in that play?
Yeah, so before that, I told Poncho, I was just like, look, you take care of the snap and everything, and we'll help whatever leftover stuff that needs to be taken care of. Everybody else got it, you know what I'm saying? But Poncho, for a young guy, and I said this ever since he's gotten here, like, he is very mature. His level of play is very mature for such a freshman offensive lineman. And it shows for him to come up in there. And granted, it was for like one snap. I think he came in or whatever. But, I mean, freshman center in that environment, I mean, you couldn't hear nobody to the right or to the left of you. And then for him to come in and, I mean, he got the snap off, and, we still had a level of play that was still equal to as JPJ was in there. I mean, it's just props to him. You know what I'm saying? He's a great guy in that room. And for, like I said, for a young guy to play as frequently and as often as he's played, it's just props to him and his preparation as a young cat. So, I mean, he's a great player.
An environment like that, Marcus, like you talk about, like, it's up to the rest of you guys, too, to communicate. Yeah. Bo was talking to Steven a lot throughout that game, and I think to you, too. Yeah. So, like, obviously JPJ's doing his thing, but when you're on the road and it's that loud and it's that hard, like, how instrumental are what you and Steven are doing at guard to get over the tackle and et cetera?
Yeah. I mean, we got to think the tackles are now looking in, and then JPJ's looking right between his legs. So inevitably, like I said, me and Steve are playing both their positions now, right? And so our line of scrimmage calls, we just have to be real crisp and concise. You know what I'm saying? When we call a certain call, just have to know, hey, this is a general gist of where the person is supposed to be at, right? And so, I mean, we repped it in practice a lot last week. So when we got into the game, I mean, it was seamless. You know what I'm saying? We knew, like I said, I didn't know until I got in that scenario that it was going to be loud. But I mean, for it to be as loud as it was, and both Josh and Johnny did an excellent job of handling their ends. You know what I'm saying? All night, even though they were inevitably playing catch up because they, like I said, already had a disadvantage looking in at the ball. So props to them. And like I said, Steve talked to Johnny, communicated to Johnny, and I communicated to JPJ and Josh. So that's what it, you know.
What do you see from Washington State's D-line? They've got two really good ends, and I realize you probably deal more with the tackles, but if they come inside of the B gaps in particular, like what do you see from Stone and Jackson?
Real seasoned players. Obviously, they've been there for a minute. They have played very good with their hands, very versatile moves, and they just can play all across the line. And they're hard-working players, high-motor players. So we just got to, mitigate all their weaknesses and then play into our strengths, and then we'll come out victorious on Saturday.
After a couple of games on the road, obviously really tough environment this last week, how much are you looking forward to getting back inside Austin and playing in front of maybe a quieter crowd when you're on offense?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to play in front of Austin. We love everybody in Austin. Just great to be back home and in front of our home crowd, and fans enjoy the home environment because on the road it is a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we played at Stanford. That was Stanford and Washington, two completely different environments. But yeah, it'll be nice to get back there on Saturday versus Washington. So.
How do you feel like you guys handled the pre-snap stuff in a loud environment like that? Your first real test of the year.
Yeah, that was. I mean, like I said, we got inevitably five. We got 5 offensive linemen, and 3 of them are playing super behind the ball, playing super delayed to the snap because tackles are looking in and guards. I mean, the center's looking between his legs. So I mean, I feel like we handled it great. You know what I'm saying? We didn't really have too many things that mitigated us, as prevented us from doing that. And so that, like I said, that's just kudos to our tackles and the sniper focus that both our tackles and our centers had in that moment, because that's a hard task. You got to get the ball off to the quarterback, and then you got to go block a man in front of you. Then the tackles, like I said, those were some very, very elite defensive ends, and they already were trying to time up the snap. So now you got to play catch up and get them mitigated, and then our tackles did that, and hey, we didn't get the result we wanted, but kudos to those 3 guys for doing that and making that adjustment in game. So.